Okay, so this is the third video. I do have pineapple sage planted all along the privacy fence, and in the fall, well, not fall, but September, that will start to bloom and it'll be like a big shrub with red blooms on it. In the meantime, the daylilies are just coming into peak bloom here. There are tall trees in back of this fence and roots are incorporated into the ground here, so the daylilies are not doing as well as they could. On this side, I do have some potted plants here. That is, oh, what is that? Something I grew from seed there. You can eat the leaves, you can eat the flowers, nasturtium, and then there's a lantana, and there's a pentas, and finally back there is a sage plant, a rockin' deep purple salvia. And then you can see the bee balm growing here, and I have some flowering tobacco, also some zinnias, tall zinnias in the pot, as well as the tall verbena, and that is a butterfly bush. If you walk up through the side here, you can see some pretty daylilies. There's a deep burgundy colored one that's called Black Watch. There are some late blooming daylilies planted in amongst this grouping of daylilies. Here's a luxury lace, they call it. It's registered. And there's an unusual form daylily. It's almost over. It's called You're Amazing. And the lavender one back there is called Astral Voyager. Again, another unusual form one. There's a spidery one back there. It's a bicolor, meaning the petals and the sepals are different colored. One is a solid color and the other is a striped. It's just a mixture of colors in here. Nothing is, that's just the way I am. I like to plant things that show rainbow of colors. And you can hear the birds singing. I do grow a few herbs too, like here's a pot of parsley, and have that mostly for the butterflies because they like to eat the leaves, the caterpillars do, cats when they come out. And I'm gonna walk up a little further. This year I have Japanese anemone in here, which I wish weren't here, but I left them go. I usually pull out the leaves and let the daylilies go, but this year I didn't get in here really to do the weeding, and very little, so I just left them go and we'll see what happens. Here's a daylily that my friend Lester Garrett, who passed away a few years ago, hybridized. It's called Lynn's Favorite, and his daughter named that. It's an old, it was hybridized with old daylilies. Older, I mean back in the 50s. And here is one called Inherited Wealth. I just tied this up and it looks like a bouquet of flowers. It was leaning over into the path and I couldn't get through. There's a nice pot of zinnias. Back there is a pretty pinkish one with a mauve colored eye. Again, that was hybridized by a man out near Pittsburgh. And there I have a New Guinea impatiens, and also there is a begonia back there. And here's this salvia, the rockin' deep purple salvia, that I actually overwintered last year and brought it in the house during the winter, brought it out in the spring, and it's doing great. This one, the petals are really nice to touch. It's not a little wimpy one. It's called Atlanta Fringe Benefit. And in there I have some pots of geranium and zinnia, and also a salvia, rhythm and blues salvia that is growing, and that came back from last year, and I put it in a pot, and it's going to do fine. It's going to bloom. There's a lantana in a hanging basket there, and there's some ferns and daylilies and a lot of other things on this hill. I'm going to turn it off right now and we'll go on to number 4 video.